Hola chicos. Hola again. I've been filming all these together, so I've just finished, but we're continuing. This will be a whole different week for you guys. We're gonna go over ordinal numbers. I kind of mentioned it in that first vocab video that you saw, or heard, I should say, or both, being dumb. We have this on page, I don't know, because it's scrolled and covered, 258. It's numbers 1 through 10, but they're ordinal. So if we don't know what ordinal means, instead of saying 1, 2, 3, it's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, blah, 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 until 10th. So it's like the TH version of it. We're going over these because we're talking about house/building areas, as in rooms that you come across. So we have floors. So you won't say floor 1, you'll say first floor, right? Or it won't be like bedroom 1, it's like the first bedroom, the second bedroom, if you have like a spare or any sort of room, den, living room area that you have. So we're using ordinal numbers. It's only the 10 ordinal numbers that we're going over, so it shouldn't be that difficult. Most, not all, but most look similar to what their normal counterpart is, like 1, 2, 3, in Espanol, of course. So that should give you a hint as to what the words are, but not all of them are, so of course I'm going over them in a specific lesson for you guys. Similar to numbers, at least not the single digit like 1, 2, 3 that we've gone over, but the numbers when it came to pretty much the hundreds, you change the spelling based off the thing that you're describing. So like when you guys went over numbers for like 200, 300, 400, and so on, like if we had 200 books or something, you would say 200 OS because libros has an OS. Or if I had 200 backpacks to give out, I would say 200 because mochila for backpack would have an A. And because it's 200 of them, I'd say mochilas because it's more than one. So that AS spelling transfers to the number as well. So that rule applies here because, again, they're not uno, dos, tres, where they don't end with an O or an A for you to change. They're first, second, third. So primero, segundo, tercero. And those do end with O's/A's, which is why you opt out and you change the ones that you need to. Or you put S's when it's more than one thing. So I'm going to go over all 10 of the ordinal numbers are on this page. It starts with telling you exactly what ordinal numbers are, which is what I told you. It's not 1, 2, 3. It's first, second, third. So it gives you the order of something, which is why it's an ordinal number. Depending as to what thing you are saying the order of, that spelling attaches to the spelling of the number. As in, if I'm talking about the second boy in line to something, I would say segundo. If it was the second girl in line, I would say segunda, chica, or whoever I was describing, or whatever thing I was describing. So here's what your ordinal numbers are. Primero is first, segundo, second, tercero, third, and that kind of looks like tres. Of course, it's way longer, but it looks a little, it has a T at least. Cuarto is fourth, and if you notice, this looks really close to the word for room that we're going over this chapter as well. Cuarto could mean both, right? It's the word for room, or it could be the word for fourth. And it actually looks really close to the word for four. Not fourth, but four. The way you say four, the number, is you kind of just have to switch your R and your T. So this number, 4, is cuatro, T-R-O. Fourth would be this, cuarto, flip it. Bedroom is also cuarto, same spelling. So if you're talking about the fourth room of something, I would say, tongue twister, the cuarto, cuarto. Same word twice. Your spelling is going to be interesting, as in if you accidentally put your T and R flipped on an activity that you're doing, I'm not going to mark you wrong. I'm just going to remind you it's the number 4, or it sounds weird, but it's fourth as in the number, not 4 as in the number. So keep that in mind. So that one should be easy because it looks kind of exactly like the word, so you'll know it means 4, something 4. In this case, fourth in general. Quinto would be fifth, sexto, sixth, séptimo looks a little like siete as well. So seventh, octavo, a little like 8, eighth, noveno, ninth, décimo, 10th. So you do have like the S's, O's, and N's that give you hints as to what those numbers are for 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. 10th, a little, right? Diez and décimo, similar, but of course some of these are way longer than the original numbers you're used to seeing. So you have all the O's and you have the A's right next to them as well. If you're talking about like I mentioned, a girl who was supposed to be 5th in line, 7th in line, 10th in line, you change that spelling. If it was like the 5th meal that you were going to be having in the day or something, of course you would change it because comida would have an A as well. So it just depends as to the thing you're counting, I guess you could say, or the order of the thing you're counting for you to change those spellings. So as an example, you also can add S's to these. So if I'm saying like the second group of men that go to something are going to win tickets to whatever it is. So if it's a group that you are describing, or like the second group of cars that go through a bridge of some kind, don't have to pay the toll or whatever it is that you're mentioning, you can have S's on them as well. So I could say like, los segundos hombres en la línea have a blah, 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 whatever they won. So you can put S's on these too. Just because it has an A or an O doesn't mean that you can't change an S. Just like the numbers, you would have S's on them too, and like the original 200, 300, 400, and so on. Same goes for this too. Only thing you should remember, and this is where I would say add an extra note to whatever you're looking at for right now. There are two numbers that you actually change the spelling when you're mentioning them as singular. As in if you're just trying to say the word third in the masculine form. It won't really change the spelling, as in it won't be a new rule. If it's feminine, you'll have an A. That's kind of what we know. If you're changing something to the feminine spelling, you put the A. But there are two numbers for the masculine spelling that you do not put the O. Instead, you just leave it without the O. So the word is smaller. I also mentioned this, but this is kind of typical to Spanish. You guys know that you always end up changing the order technically of how you say this, instead of saying like the item or the noun, I should say, the person, the place, the whatever that you're talking about first, you end up putting the description, in this case the number first, and then you say the noun. So example here is la primera película, the first movie of Maria Conchita Alonso, a famous actress. So this is the first movie that this person made. So first goes before the word movie. Or the second option, nuestro, our. Apartamento está en el octavo piso. As in, our apartment is on the 8th floor. So we said the number, and then we described what it's on, right? In this case, a floor. Not the 8th street, not the 8th block, the 8th floor. So you're using it there. So this is what I meant about the masculine. The words, or the numbers, primero and tercero, when being described in the masculine form, as in singular masculine form, you will not actually have the O. So instead you would say primer or tercer. Just drop the O at the end. The way, or the reason the O exists when you saw it appear in your little chart is because you, of course, can put an S when you're talking about masculine, and you wouldn't just like drop the O. You kind of need the S there as a space holder to help pronounce the word, because you can't pronounce that many consonants together. So the O exists, but it's only going to exist when you're mentioning it in the plural form. So like primeros chicos, the first boys to come will do something. I'm thinking of like concerts because that's usually where order matters the most. Of like, the first person in line to do this will get this, or the first person to buy something here is going to get this. So that's why my examples are all like that. So if I say primeros chicos, I'm looking for like the first couple of boys in this case for something. I would have the O because I'm using an S. If I just said the first boy was going to win something, I would say el primer chico gets a car, or whatever he's doing. Same for tercer. El tercer chico, or it would be los, because it's more than one. Terceros chicos. Like if I want a team, right, and it's obviously going to be a team of boys in this case, they're going to come, they get them. So it would be los terceros chicos, because there's an S. If it was just one, I would say el tercer chico. No O. For the feminine, that won't matter. So the feminine will always be la tercera chica and las terceras chicas. Same with the word for primer. It would be la primera chica and las primeras chicas. 8 S's across the board. Only one is for masculine, and that only happens for the number 1 and the number 3. Or I guess the number first and the number third, technically there. But something to keep in mind. Those two do have different spellings, so if you ever do see like an activity and you're filling in a blank or you're matching something or whatever the situation might be asking you to do, and you see the O there, don't think of, oh, it was a mistake. It might just be that there to remind you that you can use the O, but just make sure you have it with an S. If there's no S involved, don't put the letter O. There's going to be practice on this. We're obviously going to go over it in class in real time and not just on this video, but hopefully that's not too difficult. It's your numbers. Hopefully it's relatively straightforward. We're going to be practicing it mostly with like the building/house context, like I mentioned. And it's literally order. So it's just the order of something and not of counting how many people, but like describing the position of a certain thing or person. I think that should be it for this little lesson, though. I hope it was helpful. If not, of course, when we have class, I hope you guys ask questions or message me if you need to. So I'll see you guys in class. I'm hoping this is helpful, but quick and easy. I'll see you guys later.